你可以吗？越高越还能说自己不行了。其实越低越好，但是他要跟那个。衣服不干净，你不看我衣服都不看。
女士们、先生们，大家上午好，欢迎出席国务院新闻办新闻发布会。今天我们邀请到财政部部长蓝福安先生，请他向大家介绍加大。
He will brief us on enhancing counter-cyclical adjustment to promote high-quality development of the economy. He will also answer your questions. Also attending the press conference are Vice Minister of Finance, Mr. Liao Ming, Vice Minister, Mr. Wang Dongming, and Vice Minister, Madam Guo Tingting. Now the floor is yours, Mr. Lan Foan. Friends from the media, good morning. It's my pleasure to join you in this event. On behalf of the Ministry of Finance, I wish to thank you for your long-standing understanding and support to our work. Today, I would like to brief you first on the implementation of our proactive fiscal policy and our overall consideration on further increasing intensity of counter-cyclical adjustment to boost high-quality economic growth. Since the beginning of this year, the Fiscal Department faithfully implemented the decisions of the Central Conference on Economic Work, appropriately increased the intensity of proactive fiscal policy with higher quality and effectiveness, used multiple tools including deficit, special purpose loans, ultra-long treasury bonds, tax incentives, and fiscal subsidies. We increased intensity of fiscal policies, strengthened protection in key areas, prevented and addressed risks, and promoted continued recovery of the economy. Let me elaborate on the following 6 areas. First, we increased spending. In 2024, we set our deficit at 4.06 trillion yuan, up by 180 billion yuan compared with earlier last year. We added 3.9 trillion yuan of the limit for special purpose debt for local governments. We issued over 1 trillion yuan of ultra-long special treasury funds and made good use of the treasury bond added in 2023. The budget for general expenditure is 28.55 trillion yuan, staying at a rather high intensity, providing strong impetus for high-quality development. Second, we optimized tax incentives. We implemented structural reform of the tax and fee cuts, kept in place such policies as tax deduction for R&D spending, VAT tax deduction for advanced manufacturing companies, and tax cuts for application of science and technology outcomes. We also improved tax incentives for the technical transformation of manufacturing industries. Between January and August, these major policies in support of innovation and manufacturing sectors have seen over 1.8 trillion yuan of tax cuts and refunds. Third, we effectively expanded effective demand. Localities are asked to make good use of the Treasury Bond Fund to support post-disaster reconstruction and level up disaster resilience. We fully tapped into the ultra-long Treasury bond to support the implementation of major strategies and security capacity building in key areas, and actively advanced renewal of large equipment and trade-in of consumer goods. We strengthened the management of special purpose loans for local governments. We increased the range of the areas and the use of such funds. Localities are supported to boost weak links in key areas. Between January and September, the 3.6 trillion of added special purpose loans supported over 30,000 projects and accounted for 260 billion yuan of capital fund. Fourth, we strengthened protection in key areas and meet the needs of the grassroots level. The government continued to tighten their belts. General expenditures were strictly controlled to save more funding to meet people's basic needs and spending for salaries and government function. In 2024, the central transfer payment exceeded 10 trillion yuan. Transfer payment to ensure equal access to basic public services increased by 8.8%. Basic financial security mechanism incentive funds at the county level up by 8.6%. More funding are used to replenish local capital to support local efforts of meeting basic needs, paying salaries, and ensuring smooth government functioning. At the same time, we also strengthened support to science and technology innovation, rural revitalization, and ecological conservation. Science spending at the central level increased by 10%, and the subsidy fund to support rural revitalization stand at 177 billion yuan. 65.1 billion yuan was earmarked to support pollution control. We also improved fiscal support for balanced development across the region. to implement major regional development strategies, such as the Tianjin-Beijing-Hebei Coordinated Development and the strategies in the Yangtze River Belt and the Yangtze River Delta. Fifth, we strengthen support for people's basic needs. We earmarked 66.7 billion yuan of employment subsidies to support localities in promoting employment for college graduates and vocational training. From January to September, the national education expenditure reached 3 trillion yuan. The basic pension level for retirees has been increased by 3%, and the minimum standard of the basic pension for urban and rural residents significantly raised. The financial subsidy standard for basic public health services has been increased to 94 yuan per person per year, and that for basic medical insurance increased to 670 yuan per person per year. Looking forward, we will adapt to the development and changes of China's population and the multi-level and diverse needs of the people. Further increase expenditures in relevant areas and improve people's livelihood. Six, we addressed local government debt risks. Local authorities are required to shoulder their responsibilities and implement province-specific policies to address debt risks. On the 2.2 trillion yuan of basis of 2023, in 2024, we arranged for another 1.2 trillion yuan to support localities, especially those with high risks, to address existing debt risks and repay their arrears to businesses. So the local government debt risks were generally addressed, and we made achievement in addressing the debt risks. Generally speaking, the proactive fiscal policy has yielded fruitful results, effectively guaranteed the implementation of major national strategies, and contributed to the steady growth and progress of the economy. The fundamentals of our economy, as well as our advantages of big market, economic resilience, big potential, remains unchanged. At the same time, our economy faces some new situations and new matters. It is estimated that the growth of general public revenues will fall short of expectation. I believe you are following closely whether we can meet our budgetary target this year. Let me reassure you that China has sufficient fiscal resilience. With a number of holistic measures, China will make ends meet this year, and we will reach our budgetary target set for this year. Please be assured. Following the decision of the September 26th Political Bureau meeting, the Ministry, on the basis of accelerated implementation of existing policies, are working to meet the goal of keep steady growth, increase domestic demand, and diffuse risks. We will roll out a package of targeted new measures, including the following areas. First, we will further support local government to address their debt risks. We will increase the debt quota by a large margin to support localities to diffuse their implicit debt so that more room can be made for localities to promote development and meet people's basic needs. Second, we will issue special Treasury bond to support large state-owned commercial banks to replenish their core Tier 1 capital so as to increase their resilience against the risks and credit extension capacity to better serve the development of the real economy. Third, we will use the special purpose fund for local governments, special funds, and tax tools to support the real estate market to bottom out and stabilize. Fourth, we will increase support and protection for key groups. Before the National Day holiday, we have provided once-off living allowances for people in difficulties. And as a next step, we will increase our support and scholarships to students and increase the overall consumption capacity. Let me add one point. Our counter-cyclical adjustment goes far beyond what I have mentioned. These four above points I've mentioned are policies that has entered the decision-making stage. There are other policy tools that are being discussed. They are still in the pipeline. For example, the central budget still have ample room for raising debt and increasing deficits. That's all for my briefing today, and now my colleagues and I would be very happy to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you for that introduction. We'll open the floor for questions. Please identify yourselves before asking your question. With Xinhua News Agency, we noticed that the recent meeting of the Politburo has stressed the point to maintain necessary fiscal expenditure. What measures will be taken by the ministry? Thank you for your question. This year, we have earnestly implemented a proactive fiscal policy, adhering to a moderate boost and improving efficiency while increasing financial support for basic livelihood and key areas. We have maintained the intensity of fiscal expenditure, ensuring stable and orderly fiscal operations with key expenditures well secured. Let me give you some numbers. In the first 9 months, China's general public budget expenditures amounted to 20.18 trillion yuan, up by 2%. Among these, expenditures grew by 4.3% on social security and employment, 1.1% on education, 6.4% on agriculture, forestry, and 6.1% on rural and urban community, and 2.5% on housing security. The general budget revenue executed was below the targets set at the beginning of the year. We will take a variety of measures and adopt a holistic approach to ensure a balance between revenue and expenditure for the entire year. We will raise fiscal revenues in accordance with laws and regulations while avoiding excessive taxation to protect the interests and rights of business entities. At the same time, we will maintain necessary fiscal expenditures to ensure that key expenditures are fully funded, to effectively leverage fiscal counter-cyclical regulation and contribute to the goals and tasks for this year's economic and social development. Our measures are mainly three-front. First, we will effectively replenish fiscal resources. The central finance or the central budget has allocated 400 billion yuan from the local government debt quota to supplement the financial pool of local governments, supporting them in resolving existing debts on government investment projects and digesting government arrears to enterprises. We have encouraged localities with capabilities to utilize their idle assets, strengthen the management of state-owned capital yields, and increase their fiscal revenue. We have guided localities to use budget stabilization adjustment funds and other existing funds to meet the needs for fiscal expenditure. Second, we will effectively ensure various key expenditures, guided by the requirements for party and government organs to tighten their belt. We have strictly controlled general expenditures and channeled more funds to strengthen weak links and improve people's lives, ensuring sufficient priority expenditures. And this can be seen from the numbers I have explained to you. All the key expenditures have been increased. We have strengthened key expenditures such as on science and technology and education, implemented the policy of raising basic pensions for urban and rural residents, and increased the fiscal subsidies for basic public health service funds. We have focused on supporting major strategies such as comprehensive rural revitalization, green development, to ensure sound implementation of policies set by the CPC Central Committee. Third, we'll make good use of various debt funds. The issuance of government bonds is now being accelerated, and the ultra-long-term special government funds is also being issued. In terms of special bonds, with funds to be issued, plus the unused funds, altogether, 2.3 trillion yuan of special bond funds are available for use in the next 3 months. We will urge localities to make good use of the various debt funds, accelerate project implementation, promptly allocate funds according to actual needs, and contribute to investment growth. Thank you. With South Daily,
The minister said greater efforts will be taken to address implicit debt. Please brief us on the following measures and policy arrangements. And it's reported that there might be over 1 trillion yuan of fiscal policy support. You also mentioned more efforts will be taken to address local debts. Can you confirm those information? Thank you for your question. Local government debt risks concerns development, security, and fiscal sustainability. These are very important issues. Since 2015, the central leadership required the establishment of a well-regulated local government debt for financing, with the front door well open and the back door closed. Increase of implicit debt must be avoided and existing ones properly diffused to prevent debt risks. The ministry worked with relevant departments to follow through on those decisions, and a number of measures have been taken. Local government bonds were issued to replace existing debt. A closed-loop management mechanism was established to control local government debt. Beijing, Shanghai, Guangdong, and places with low risks realized zero implicit debt, while in places with high risk of debt, we carried out pilot programs and we worked with relevant departments to address and prevent the implicit debt risks of financing platforms. Local authorities also fulfilled their responsibilities in an earliest manner. A cross-agency coordination mechanism was set up to manage debt and diffuse risks. Fiscal fund and asset resources were mobilized to repay debts. Progress has been made in steadily addressing the debt risks for local governments. Due to various reasons, since the later half of 2022, some localities saw debt risks emerging. In July 2023, the Political Bureau meeting required effective measures to address local government debt risks and asked for the formulation of a package solution. The State Council established a coordination mechanism to guide provinces to formulate specific plans. Local authorities have taken greater efforts with more specific measures. The ministry arranged for a 2.2 trillion yuan of local government debt quota to support localities, especially those with high risks, to address their debt risks and repay arrears to businesses. So generally speaking, the risks facing local government has been addressed as a whole. So by the end of 2023, the balance of implicit debt monitored by the government debt information platform went down by 50% compared with 2018. So the risk of debt is generally under control. Since 2024, after due procedures, the Ministry of Finance has arranged for 1.2 trillion yuan of debt quota to support localities address their implicit debt and repay debt and arrears to businesses to ease local pressure. In addition to the number of bonds that are specially designed to address the existing government project debt, we are going to provide a once-off increase of debt quota by a large margin to replace local government implicit debt. Greater efforts will be taken to address the debt risks facing by localities, and relevant policies will be explained in detail after due procedures. Let me stress here that this upcoming policy will be one of the largest in recent years in addressing debt risks. This timely policy will undoubtedly and significantly ease local pressure of addressing debt and allow more resources to support the economy, bolster business confidence, and meet the local government's needs to pay the salaries, ensure government functioning, and people's basic livelihoods. So we will continue to ask localities to shoulder their responsibilities, guide local authorities to properly address debt risks, and realize transformation of their financing platforms, while debt raised in violation of laws and regulations will be strictly handled and timely corrected. Every case will be handled, investigated, and held accountable, and we will strictly prevent the increase of implicit debt. As for the accurate amount of funding, after due procedures, we will release the number to society. Thank you. Next question.
With the Tatas, my question is about the property market. What is your considerations for the fiscal policy to support the property market? I'll give the floor to Vice Minister Liao Ming. Thank you for the question. The property market is something of great interest to the public, and the Ministry of Finance has worked with other authorities to balance supply and demand, improve fiscal and tax policies, and bring the property sector back to stable and healthy development. In the policies that have been introduced on the demand side and the supply side, we have all introduced measures. On the demand side, the main focus is to meet the diverse housing needs and reduce the cost of home purchase. This includes introducing a phased individual income tax refund policy for those swapping their old homes for a new one. For example, if one's current home is sold for 2 million yuan with an original value of 1 million yuan, the individual income tax payable would be about 200,000 yuan. If a new home worth more than 2 million yuan is is purchased within a year, the paid 200,000 yuan in tax can be fully refunded. Additionally, the interest rate on housing provident fund loans has been cut by 0.25 percentage points, and it is estimated that this could save Chinese borrowers about 20 billion yuan in interest payments per year. These two policies have played an important role in reducing the burden of home buyers and boosting housing demand. On the supply side, there is support for improving the supply of affordable housing and ensuring basic needs of the people. In the past 3 years, the central budget has arranged 212.4 billion yuan for affordable housing projects and 280 billion yuan for central budgetary investment. It has also coordinated local government special bonds to support the construction of 6.66 million units of various types of affordable housing to meet the basic living needs of low-income urban residents and young people. At the same time, we supported localities in actively and steadily advancing the renovation of 160,000 old residential communities, benefiting 27.25 million households. We've also supported the renovation of 4.2 million households in shantytowns, urban villages, and dilapidated urban houses, playing an important role in stabilizing investment, promoting consumption, and improving people's lives. In addition, on resolving existing risks, our ministry has introduced special loan policies for ensuring home delivery, providing subsidies on interest payments with 360 billion yuan in special funds, and has pre-allocated 6.2 billion yuan in interest subsidy funds to protect the legitimate rights and interests of the home buyers. We have also contributed to the efforts to ensure home delivery and stabilizing social expectations. So going forward, as Minister Lan has just said, we will continue to strictly control new increments, remove existing stock, enhance quality, and roll out policies conducive to the stable development of the property market. And I would like to share with you our considerations in the following 3 aspects. First, we'll allow special bonds to be used for land reserves. Given the relatively large amount of idle, undeveloped land, we will support local governments in using special bonds to repurchase eligible idle existing land. Regions with real demand can also be used for new land reserve projects. This policy can not only adjust the supply and demand of the land market, reduce idle land, enhance the capacity to relegate land supply, but also help ease the liquidity pressure of local governments and real estate companies. Second, we'll support the purchase of existing homes and increase the supply of affordable housing. Given the relatively large amount of housing built ready for sale, we have mainly taken 2 measures. One is to use special purpose bonds to purchase existing commercial housing as affordable housing. The other measure is to continue to make good use of the subsidies for affordable housing projects. Originally, these funds were mainly used to support the construction of new affordable housing. Now we have adjusted our support, reducing the scale of new construction and encouraging localities to gather affordable housing resources by exhausting the existing housing stock. Through these 2 measures, we can both reduce the stock of commercial housing, balance supply and demand in the real estate market, and improve the supply of affordable housing to meet the housing needs of low and middle income groups. Third, we have promptly improved relevant tax policies. In accordance with the decisions of the party, we are looking at clarifying and abolishing the value-added tax and land value-added tax policies that are linked to the standards of ordinary and non-ordinary residences. Going forward, we'll continue to look at ways to enhance support improve relevant tax policies for the stable and healthy growth of the property market. Promoting steady growth of the property market is a systemic project that requires synergy of a range of policies. We'll continue to coordinate the fiscal policy with other policies, enhance the interactions between the central and the local governments, and ensure smooth transition from old to new policies. With a combination of policy measures, we'll work tirelessly to stabilize the real estate market. Thank you.
With Economic Daily, we noticed that some localities face greater pressure in ensuring people's basic needs, wage payment, and normal operation of local governments. What measures have been taken by the ministry to ensure the localities can deliver on the 3 priorities? Thank you for your question. Ensuring people's basic needs, wage payment, and normal operation at the grassroots level, also known as the 3 priorities, is fundamental for safeguarding the immediate rights and interests of the people, and the most essential function of our fiscal policy. In 2024, the Ministry of Finance has improved the management system for the 3 priorities, covering budget formulation, implementation, monitoring, and emergency response to ensure stability in delivering the 3 priorities at the grassroots level. First, we are strengthening financial support for the 3 priorities. In 2024, we allocated over 10 trillion yuan for the central government's budget for transfer payment to localities, and we encouraged the grassroots levels to deliver on the 3 priorities. Grassroots levels meaning the county and the county level. Second, we have established and improved the working mechanism. We have acted on the principle of putting counties in the driver's seat with municipal level assistance, provincial level guarantees, and the central level incentives. Responsibilities are ensured at all levels, and detailed emergency plans are formulated for the 3 priorities. Third, we have enhanced the ability to guarantee Treasury bonds. We have stepped up fund allocation to fiscally strained counties and districts, ensuring capital needs of the 3 priorities. Fourth, we have strengthened supervision of local fiscal operations. And we have this integrated system for managing budgets across the nation. All the financial authorities will be put under supervision as to how many existing fiscal stock they still have and how they are spending on the 3 priorities. And monthly risk alerts for the 3 priorities are sent to all localities, which are urged to handle those risks in a timely manner. On the whole, things are stable for the 3 priorities, with some strains in certain areas. Based on the calculation of the total financial resources at the grassroots level nationwide, the 3 priorities can be guaranteed. Taking 2023 as an example, grassroots expenditures for the 3 priorities account for about half of the available financial resources. Together with other essential expenditures, they account for about 80% of the financial resources available. The pressure in some localities has increased for delivering the 3 priorities, mainly due to a slowdown in fiscal revenue growth, a decline in land transfer income, and the debt burden of local governments. Going forward, the ministry will continue to take pragmatic and effective measures, study and formulate a list for delivering the 3 priorities, actively build a long-term mechanism to ensure the priorities are delivered at the grassroots level. We have 5 specific measures for this goal. First, we need to strengthen the accountability of all parties. Local party
Committees and governments at all levels hold the primary responsibilities for the three priorities in their jurisdictions, and they should study and improve safeguard measures on a regular basis. Each department bears the main responsibility for implementing the policies for the three priorities in its field and should establish a horizontal coordination mechanism with the fiscal authorities to build synergy. Second, enhance local fiscal capacity. In light of the annual budget arrangements, we will continue to increase the central government's fiscal transfer payments to localities. As I said before, this year, using the debt balance this year, we have allocated 400 billion yuan of debt credit line to the localities, which could be instrumental. Third, we will strengthen allocation of Treasury bonds. We'll continue to monitor local revenues and expenditures and the guarantee of Treasury bonds, and increase local autonomy. And third, we would also strengthen allocation of the Treasury bonds. We'll continue to monitor local revenues and expenditures and the guarantee of Treasury bonds. For areas where Treasury bonds are running tight, the central budget will provide appropriate support through advance fund allocation and other means. We'll urge provincial fiscal authorities to strengthen the monitoring of Treasury bonds, ensure the capacity at the grassroots level, and prioritize expenditures for the three priorities. Fourth, we'll ease the debt pressure. We'll step up efforts to swap the existing hidden debts of local governments. And we'll continue to allocate a certain amount in the annual increase of local government special debt quota to replenish government funds and support local governments in resolving debt risks. Fifth, we'll strengthen monitoring. We will help establish an information-based smart monitoring system that covers the entire process of the three priorities, promptly identify potential risks, provide timely warnings and alerts, and ensure early detection and early resolution of those problems. Thank you. With Reuters, I was wondering what kind of bigger role can the proactive fiscal policy play in expanding domestic demand, especially in boosting consumption and addressing deflationary leverage? And what kind of deflationary risks, what kind of leverage does the central government has? Thank you for your question. Since the start of this year, we have strengthened the countercyclical role of the proactive fiscal policy and maintained the intensity of fiscal expenditure and keep working on expanding domestic demand, promoting consumption and benefiting people's livelihood in order to stimulate consumption and expand effective demand. First, we have taken multiple measures to increase residents' income. We have steadily enhanced social security. In 2024, the minimum monthly basic pension for urban and rural residents was raised by the largest margin ever. The overall level of pensions for retired personnel was raised by about 3%. And the per capita fiscal subsidy standard for urban and rural medical insurance was significantly raised as well. On top of providing stratified and categorized social assistance and security, by this year's National Day, we also issued a one-time living allowance to vulnerable groups, such as the extremely poor and orphans, increasing the income of people in difficulty and enhancing the consumption capacity and the willingness of low-income group Second, we have increased government investment through multiple channels. In 2024, we issued 1 trillion yuan in ultra-long-term special government bonds, increased the local government special debt limit by 3.9 trillion yuan. We've arranged 700 billion yuan in central budget investment. Coupled with the additional government bond allocated in 2023, the actual funds available for increasing government investment have significantly increased compared to last year, driving effective investment and expanding domestic demand. Third, we have vigorously implemented the 2 new policies. We have arranged about 300 billion yuan in ultra-long-term special national debt funds, which have been supported by specific implementation measures by the various localities since August and September. And we have done so to support equipment upgrade in key areas, further enhance the capacity to trade in old consumer goods for new ones, and effectively boost investment growth, unleash consumption potential, and promote industrial development. Going forward, the ministry will continue to take a targeted approach, improve the basic policy mechanism arrangements, improve residents' income expectations, and stimulate consumption. We will make good use of special funds, subsidies on interest and loan payments, and other tools to improve the commercial circulation system and enhance the consumption environment. We'll leverage the guiding role of government bonds to drive effective investment and expand domestic demand. On your second question, what kind of room does the central government has on raising leverage? As I said, the central government, when it comes to increasing the deficit and increasing debt, we have significant room. And going forward, we will follow through on the decisions of the CPC Central Committee. In light of the economic situation, macroeconomic regulation needs, and the fiscal conditions, will make good use of debt policy tools and contribute to sound and continued economic recovery and growth. Thank you.
Recently, the ministry are considering new management measures for special loans. So how will those special loans be issued, and what measures will be taken to strengthen management of those loans? Thank you for the question. In recent years, the ministry, together with relevant central departments, has established and improved the management system. We improved relevant policies and guided localities to enhance the project quality and played the role of special purpose bonds in a continuous manner, so that it will continue to play the role of boosting investment and stabilizing the macroeconomy. Since 2020, a total of 18.7 trillion yuan of new special purpose bonds have been arranged, supporting approximately 130,000 government investment projects. And in 2024, 3.9 trillion yuan of new special purpose bonds are issued, which is the biggest in recent years. To better leverage the role of government investment, the ministry carefully organized the allocation, issuance, and use of special purpose bonds. On the one hand, we provided stronger support to large provinces. The quota allocation is tilted towards regions with well-prepared projects and high investment efficiency, so as to support those large provinces to accelerate the implementation of major projects. On the other hand, we also provided proper bonds to other regions to ensure the completion of ongoing projects and the implementation of major national strategic projects. Guidance is provided to localities to accelerate the issuance and use of special purpose bonds. In light of local needs, we ask localities report the use of those bonds. As of September, 3.6 trillion yuan of new special purpose bonds have been issued, accounting for 92.5% of the annual quota. According to the decision, we will work to expand the use of those bonds, ensure the intensity and frequency of government investments, reasonably reduce financing costs, and promote high-quality development. Let me elaborate on the following 3 points. First, we will expand the scope. First, we will discuss and improve the management of the special purpose bond investment list. We will increase the fields that can be used as project capital and maximize the scope of its use. Localities will be encouraged to support the acquisition of existing commercial housing and make them get housing for low-income groups. And also, thirdly, we will support strategically important and emerging industries to boost infrastructure and promote the accelerated development of new quality productive forces. A second big point, we will strengthen mechanisms. We will improve the project management mechanism, open up green channel for ongoing projects, promote the effective coordination between project planning and reserve construction and implementation. We will accelerate the issuance and use of special purpose bonds and project reconstruction progress, quickly form physical work volume, and effectively play the guiding role of government investment. Third, we will strengthen strict management. We will improve the full cycle management of special purpose bonds, strengthen the supervision of bond expenditures. We will make sure that relevant departments fully fulfill their responsibilities. We will improve the special purpose bond project asset ledger, clarify and manage project assets, and ensure the balance between government debt and the project assets. We will explore the early repayment of special purpose bonds, work to establish a debt service reserve fund system, and ensure the source of government debt repayment. Thank you. Next question.
On special financial loan for students, and we noticed that the ministry is working on improving the financial aid system. What new measures will be taken? Thank you for your question. In recent years, the Ministry of Finance, in conjunction with the Ministry of Education, has been improving the student financial aid system that covers all stages of education. We have increased investment efforts and gradually raised the financial aid to help the students focus on their study. We have established a comprehensive financial aid system led by the government with active participation from schools and society, which includes national scholarships and grants, national student loans, tuition waivers, living allowances, and work-study programs. In 2023, the national fiscal investment reached 93.2 billion yuan, providing financial aid to more than 31 million college students through support policies such as fiscal subsidies, on interest payments. Banks issued 70 billion yuan in national student loans. And going forward, we will take 2 steps to help improve the financial aid for students. The first step to be implemented in 2024 includes the following policy measures. First, doubling the number of national scholarships. The number of national scholarship spots for undergraduates will increase from 60,000 to 120,000. For postgraduates, it will grow from 35,000 to 70,000 per year. And for PhD students, it will increase from 10,000 to 20,000 per year. Second, raising the standards for undergraduate scholarships. The national scholarships for undergraduates and associate degree students will be raised from 8,000 yuan per student per year to 10,000 yuan. The national encouragement scholarship for undergraduates and associate degree students will be raised from 5,000 to 6,000. Third, the national financial aid for undergraduate and associate students will be raised. Starting from the fourth semester of this year, the average support will be raised from 3,300 yuan to 3,700 yuan. Fourth, support for national student loans will also be stepped up. The credit line, with the maximum loan for undergraduates, will be raised from 16,000 yuan per student per year to 20,000 yuan. The second step in 2025 will see higher scholarships for postgraduate students. At the same time, the standards for national financial aid for high school students and the standards for national financial aid for secondary vocational schools will also be raised. Going forward, we'll work with relevant authorities to introduce relevant policies and ensure that early implementation to make sure that the funds are properly distributed to the students, allowing policies to pay off and benefit the students earlier. Thank you.
In 2024, we will issue the 1 trillion ultra long special treasury bond. So how to properly manage this bond to support implementation of major national strategies and capacity building in key areas? Thank you for the question. The issuing of ultra long special treasury bond to support the implementation of major national strategies and security capacity in key areas is an important fiscal policy for this year. To ensure effective implementation of this policy, the Ministry has established a working group immediately to ensure effective coordination and orderly advancement of relevant work. First, fundraising is done well. Keeping in mind the construction cycle of the project and the demands for treasury bond markets, the bond type is set in a science-based manner, and the issuance frequency is reasonably managed, which will not only meet the project expenditure needs, but also prevent fund sedimentation and save fund costs. As of the end of September, a total of 752 billion yuan of ultra-long special treasury bonds have been issued, and the overall interest rate has been stable. Second, we accelerated the issuance of budget and fund disbursement. The budget is issued in a timely manner according to the project list. And third, we strengthened supervision of relevant fund. The Ministry has issued the interim measure for the supervision of such fund. We proposed to establish a full life cycle management system with special account management and a debt service reserve fund system, strengthening performance management and taking stricter and more realistic measures to manage and use the funds. Looking ahead, the Ministry will continue to ensure the sound management of the 1 trillion yuan of special treasury bond as planned. We will enhance the supervision of the fund. We will work with local fiscal authorities and industry management authorities to ensure effective supervision. We will strengthen monitoring to prevent diversion and misuse of those funds. Illegal activities and acts against the regulation will be handled in a proper manner to ensure effective use of the fund. So, in the interest of time, last two questions. Minister Lan mentioned that special purpose bond will be issued to help big state-owned commercial banks to replenish their capital. So please brief us on your policy consideration and the future steps to be taken to implement those policies. Thank you for your question. State-owned large commercial banks are the main force in serving the real economy and the ballast in maintaining financial stability. At the present, the six major commercial banks, ICBC, ABC, BOC, CCB, BOC, OM, and PSBC are seeing steady performance with stable asset quality and sufficient provisioning. And according to the international standards, all their indicators are within the healthy range. And owner's equity continues to increase. By June 2024, the equity reached 15.1 trillion yuan, a growth of 2.9% from the beginning of the year. And by the end of June 2024, the average core Tier 1 capital adequacy ratio stands at 12.3%. Those banks, together with other types of financial institutions, shoulder the important task of supporting high-quality growth and implementing the 5 major tasks of finance. Capital is the fundamental of continuous operation of commercial banks, and is also the basis for banks to serve the development of the real economy and resist financial risks. In the past few years, some local small medium-sized banks have replenished their capital. Under the current situation, we believe it is necessary to support through appropriate means state-owned large commercial banks to further increase their core Tier 1 capital. This will not only enhance the bank's stable operation and risk resistance, but also play the leverage role of capital, enhance their credit allocation ability to better serve the real economy, and provide stronger support for continued recovery of the macroeconomy and stronger confidence of the market. With the authorization of the State Council, the Ministry of Finance performs the duty of the state-owned financial capital contributor, which includes establishing a dynamic mechanism to replenish capital. So we will continue to follow a law-based and market-based manner, continue to provide support. We will accumulate capital through the special treasury bonds and support state-owned large commercial banks to increase their core Tier 1 capital. We believe that through those measures, the operating ability and profit level of large banks can be improved, which will also contribute to the long-term growth of the economy. Actually, our work has already started. The Ministry of Finance, together with relevant financial management departments, has established a cross-agency working mechanism to provide efficient services for commercial banks to complete relevant work. At present, we are waiting for the plans to be provided by those banks on the replenishment of capital. And as listed banks, those state-owned commercial banks will disclose their capital replenishment plan in accordance with relevant regulations in a timely and lawful manner. Last question.
The third plenum has made important plans for deepening fiscal and tax reform. What measures will be further taken by the ministry? Thank you for your question. There is a lot of attention on reform measures, and the third plenum has made important plans for deepening the reform of the fiscal and tax system. And it has put forward the clear reform requirements such as improving the budget system, improving the tax system that is conducive to high quality development, social equity and market unification, establishing fiscal relationship between the central and local governments featuring a clear division of responsibilities, coordinated financial strength and regional balance, and perfecting the government debt management system. The Ministry of Finance has earnestly studied the decisions of the third plenum. We have made it our top priority to implement these reforms. In this process, we will focus on handling the important relationships between the government and the market, the central and local governments, efficiency and equity, the whole and the parts, and the long term and the present. Thus translating the strategic plan of comprehensively deepening reform into a strong force for promoting Chinese modernization. Specifically, we will take 3 measures. First, we will urgently introduce implementation plans for the reforms. Focused on problems and targets, we are accelerating reform and promoting scientific fiscal management and actively responding to social and grassroots concerns. And for each reform task identified by the plenary session, we will formulate lists of task item by item with clear timetable and order of priority, thus forming an implementation plan for deepening the reform of the fiscal and tax system, providing an overall roadmap for future reforms. Second, we will intensify efforts to implement reform measures. We've taken a phased and step-by-step approach to steadily advance reform, coordinating the implementation deadlines for various reform measures. Plans are underway to introduce a range of mature and tangible reform measures in the next 2 years, especially some fundamental systems that are crucial to top-level design, such as improving the budget system, perfecting the fiscal transfer payment system, and establishing a government debt management system that is compatible with high-quality development with Chinese characteristics. And this will create a system of reform outcomes where fundamental systems take the lead, followed by a series of reform measures in specific areas. Third, we'll focus on combining top-level design with grassroots exploration. With the principles and direction of reform identified, we will encourage and support relevant parties in promoting reform and innovation according to local conditions. We have organized pilot projects for zero-based budget reform in central departments and plan to carry out pilot projects for scientific fiscal management in some regions. We will assign different reform pilot programs based on the different conditions of various regions and departments, fully respect the spirit of innovation, build reform experiences to be replicated and promoted, and advance reforms in a timely manner. Going forward, the Ministry of Finance will continue to advance reforms with persistence, take active and steady steps to ensure that fiscal macro control is more targeted, the budget system more robust, the tax system more optimized, the fiscal system further improved, and fiscal development more sustainable, so as to provide a more solid fiscal safeguard for our country's development through Chinese modernization. Thank you. Thank you, Minister Lan. And I also appreciate all of you coming. With that, we conclude today's press briefing.